Hey, YouTube, how is it going? I hope all is well. Today we are just going to kind of collapse everything down into something a little more concise. There has been some debates, there's been some questions, there's been a bunch of different little things that we just need to talk about. There's a fly in here that's going to die today. But first, as always, a drink of choice within arm's reach at all times. So, I'm sure you've seen maybe in some of the other posts. I just want to make it clear about a few things. Obviously, a giveaway of this type is difficult for a multitude of reasons. One, it's open to the general public, but the general public's not exactly welcome, if you want to say it like that. By that I mean there is a barrier to entry. That barrier to entry is that you need to show us your rig, right? So just to clarify what's going on that very first bullet point that says provide a video, you know, introducing yourself and, you know, showing us your rig. My name is Luke. I've been playing guitar for a while. This is my guitar rig. I've got a freaking Legacy amplifier and I got a 2x12 stack or whatever it might be. So this is the amp right here that you're winning. All right, this is it. There's no speaker cabinet. There's nothing. It's just the head. It is a head. The head only. That is what you are getting. I have spent 6 months, 200 hours of time and about $2,000, almost $2,000 of personal money investment. Offset. How is it going, my man? Thank you for coming in. Right? So a fair amount of time, energy, and resources has been put into building just this blue box that you see here on the top of this little speaker cab. So while this is open to the general public, there's got to be some understandings, some equitable transaction, if you will. So first and foremost, we just want to have an introduction of you and your rig, right? And we don't say specifically in there what it is that you have to have. I'm not policing it. Grant Us Glorious Tone is policing those entries. Now, the reason that we're doing that is twofold. One is to see if you're willing to spend some time in front of the camera. Nice box! Thank you, Phantom Boner. Odd guy, time to let it go. I don't know what I need to let go. But, right, so he's going to police that. Now, obviously, if you don't have a speaker cab, this thing is worthless to you. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do me any good. So that's part of the thing is that, you know, you're going to jump through that hoop. You're going to give us an introduction video. You're going to show us what you're working with. So we can vet that you have a cabinet of some sort that you can play this thing through. Because without it, you can't even turn it on unless it's plugged into something. It has to be plugged in to a speaker cabinet, right? That's it. So if you can't do that, sending this to you does zero bit of good. And the whole hope and a prayer or promise that I'll get a cab after the fact doesn't do me any good either. It's not like I'm going to stand over your shoulder and be like, hey, you got to get that cab. You said you were going to do it. You've got this amp now. You better do it. I'm not going to sit there and do that. We're not doing that this time, all right? So it's very simple. We said it over the past 6 months. If you spent any amount of time in these videos watching it, we state pretty clearly that you need to have a cabinet of some sort that you can play this thing through. This does not have speakers in it, does not have a load box in it. To turn this thing on, to even make the lights come on, you have to have a speaker cab attached to it. So, just to clarify that right off the bat, this is kind of one of those things where there's a complementary product. It's like coffee and creamer, okay? The box needs a load, otherwise it might blow. Exactly, yeah, right? If you try to turn this thing on without anything plugged into it, chances are pretty good that you'll just burn up the tubes in there. And if you're lucky, it stops at the tubes, because it could migrate a problem into the output transformer. And if the output transformer goes napalm, there's a good possibility it can take out other parts in the amp, such as the power transformer. Now, you do not want to lose the power transformer in this thing. That is just in and of itself a $300 part, over $300. just for that part. So, and then imagine, you know, bench time, because nobody's going to fix that thing for free. You know, bench rates start at probably $85, $95 an hour. And it's probably a minimum 2-hour bench fee or whatever it is. So maybe it's $85 to suss out what the problem is, but you know, changing out the transformer on this thing is easily a 3-4 hour job, if not longer. And that person's going to have to call me to fix it. And it's, you know, at $50 to $70 an hour, probably for most techs, it's not going to be a cheap fix. So, you know what I mean? If you cannot utilize this thing, do not bother trying to get into the competition. I'm sorry. It's not even a competition. It is a giveaway. It is straight up a drawing in which your name will be pulled out of the hat at random. And you know, if you're the last one out of the hat, you're the winner, right? So it's not a competition. You're not being graded. There's not a number of entries based on the quality of your video. We don't care how you play. We don't care what your current rig is, other than you must have a speaker cab. Okay. Beyond that, there's no grading it. So just be clear about that first part right up front. You must be able to utilize this in order to be an actual entrant in the game, if you want to call it a game, whatever you want to call it, giveaway, lottery, sweepstakes, whatever the hell, you know, YouTube requires me to call it. That's what it is. It's very simple. It is a drawing, and your name is coming out of a hat. Secondarily to that, again, one of those things that we cannot police and cannot enforce you to do, but it's one of those things that if you do have a valid entry, and I'm calling it a valid entry because you are vetted, you have a speaker cabinet, and if I were to drop this off at your house today, you could make noise out of it today, right? That sort of thing. Is the subscription. You're really gonna wish you were subscribed to this channel and to Grandest Glorious Tones channel for 2 reasons. One is you're gonna find out when this thing's actually gonna be given away, the drawing date, if you will. And 2, you'll know where to be, at what time, and at what place, because you must be present to win. All right? So we're gonna try to find a time that is as even and fair for everybody in the world. It might be at 2 in the morning for some of us, probably this motherfucker here. There might be a couple people that are going to be up in the middle of the night. I'm sure we're going to try to make it so it's not this long, drawn-out process where you got to spend 5 hours waiting to hear your name not be called out of the hat or something like that, right? So we want it to be equitable for everybody, but it has to happen at one point in time. But you must be present to win. And if you don't know what the time is, and you don't know what channel to go to get that drawing, to be in that drawing, and be present to win, shit out of luck. Sorry. It's kind of interesting. I go through this weird little thing every week where I get, you know, I do this little video, and the next day I get like 5 or 6 subscribers. And then the following day I lose like 4 of them. Now, I don't know if it's old people that I've managed to piss off. I don't know if it's new people thinking that once they put in their entry that they can just unsubscribe from me and it's going to, you know, everything's going to be hunky-dory. Might be the case. I don't know what it is. They don't tell me. I'm not that worried about it. Obviously, if you want any possibility to win this thing, you have to know what the date is and you have to know yada, yada, yada. And Grandest Glorious Tone is the one enforcing that. So my job is simple. I've done my job. It's right there. I spent 6 months, over 200 hours, and nearly $2,000 building this thing to give away. Here's where the big ask comes in. And that's the, hello, Budge. How's it going, dude? Thank you for coming in. So, sorry. I'm clearing my throat. This is the big part right here. Mutual respect. It really just comes down to a mutual respect, okay? I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything, right? That's me being cute, but tongue-in-cheek and also serious at the same time, right? There is zero expectation that you should have of me. in terms of what your entry is into this thing. It seems like there might have been a couple people that kind of take it for granted. You know, I gave you a video, I'm entered, and that's valid, right? No, bullshit. This is my giveaway. It's my freaking work in that thing. Respect that, please, because I could just very easily be like, screw you. I'm not giving it to anybody. It is my amp. I still built it. I still put all the money into it. It's not in anywhere else in this world yet. It's still in my possession. I could just as easily call it quits and be done with it. So the mutual respect is very simple. Our ask is that you have a cabinet to play this thing through. Our ask is that you're willing to give us, you know, a valid entry. Valid entry being, hi, my name is so-and-so. Here's my rig. Here's my guitar cabinet. Right? That's all we need. It could literally be 15, 20 seconds. The last part is that, yes, we would really, really appreciate it if you gave us a review. You know, that's part of what part one was about, was to see if you were going to jump through that hoop, right? So a review does not require you to do this grand old freaking thing with a green screen and hours of freaking this, that, and the other. You got a phone. Most of us all have a telephono. You were able to create the video to get the entry. I'm pretty sure you can sit there in front of it and say, hey, you know what? I got this amp in the mail the other day. It actually really is cool. Like, it looks the part. It is the part. It sounds awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be a winner. No, whatever. Or you might freaking hate it and immediately want to throw it down the stairs. I don't know. You can do that too. But just, that is the mutual respect that I'm hoping goes into this. Is like, I spent a lot of time and a lot of energy to be able to do this for you. I ask that you are able to accommodate it and just give that part back, that little part back. I'm not asking you to show your face. You don't have to show your face. I have editing software. If you don't want to be seen, you want to black out your face, whatever it might be, we can do that. I can accommodate you. I'm not asking for a 2-hour-long thing. 10 minutes would be kind of cool as you explain like your adventure through owning the amp, that kind of thing, right? So that kind of nails down everything I wanted to get over and just cleared right off the bat. I don't mean to sound like a dick, but just some of the responses I've seen administered towards John, and despite even some of his intricacies, we'll call it, there's just a certain attitude or way that you can present yourself that doesn't have to be so like entitled or curt or this is gay, or you know what I mean? Like, those are things that, like, this is a giveaway, dude. This is a giveaway. Who owes who anything? So let me get caught up on some of these things. Offset, I know that you're in there quite a bit. Thank you. Phantom Boner, low budge. Why not sending it in? Yeah, no load. Yep. Your alarm should be set. You're definitely going to want to know. And yeah, no, the sub thing is weird. I'm not quite sure what it's all about. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's just interesting how, you know, you go through like this ebb and flow, and it's like you get 5 one day and then 4 disappear the next or something like that. And it's kind of odd sometimes. It's just like, what's going on? Like, I mean, I get it. I'm not the most interesting person on the planet, and I do say some things that are probably bound to upset some people. But at the same time, like, you know, you can't please all the people all the time. And I want you to play the hell out of this thing. That's the whole idea. That's the purpose of spending all this time and energy to make this thing, to give it away. And we talked about it a bit yesterday, is that, you know, it's meant to, you know, get you going. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're Joe Bonamassa or a super shredder, but if it's going to get you off your ass and pick up the guitar and spend an extra 10 minutes, or give you that feeling when you walk into the room, even if you're not a great guitarist, let's just say, but you walk into a room of this thing and all your super shredder buddies are going like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, where'd you get that from? You know what I mean? And then when you got hopefully the sound to back it up too, right? Like that thing, pride, right? You want to be prideful when you walk in the room. You don't want to walk in there with your Mustang 1 kind of tucked under your arm because you don't want anybody to see it, or you got some, you know, old beat up PV Bandit 110 from days of yours or something, like whatever, you know what I mean? Just like that kind of thing. But just some of the responses I've gotten kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of irked me a little bit. So here we are. I just wanted to make it very, very, very clear. Like, this doesn't have to happen. But it is going to happen. At this point in time, it is going to happen, but it doesn't have to happen. And best, you know, treat me and the others that are running this event with respect. By all means, treat everyone else with respect. I can take a beating. I got thick skin. I'm here on the YouTube. I got comments all the time. Like, I can take a licking, but don't be rude or curt or short or entitled or whatever else. And if that upsets you, I apologize. But that's the reality of it, okay? So just be nice, be fair, and everybody will get to be happy, because everybody gets to be happy. That's the idea. It will get played. Yeah, right? Yeah, right? Exactly. Like, that you're going to take your car to a car show eventually, especially your 69 Camaro or 68 Camaro even. It took my dad 30 years to get his Mustang out to his first car show ever. I mean, he literally, the first time ever out of the garage in 30 years with this 69 Mach 1 that he had, he won first place in his class in his first car show ever with a car that had only driven, what, maybe 10 miles at that point in time from the house to the venue and whatnot. So it took him 30 years, but he did it. So I hope that kind of clarifies some things. Need it, want it. Right, that's what I want. I need it, I want it. Just be excited for it, not, I don't know. It's just weird what comes out of the woodworks. I kind of got a little bit of this the last time as well. The last giveaway. Now the last giveaway did a lot differently, so that one was a little bit more manageable in terms of like pushback from entrants and stuff like that. But everybody was pretty nice to me on that one. I didn't really get too much guff, if you will, that was like verbal judo or demeaning or whatever it was. Like, nobody told me it was gay. I had there was one gentleman that was like, no, I'm not going to spend the time to do a video with you after the fact, so I'm just going to record, you know, take myself out, not even bother. Cool, whatever. You didn't have to say anything anyway, because if you didn't garner any points because you didn't put in for the points, then whatever, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. So it's it's definitely trippy how things kind of go, but the next giveaway is going to be ran a little bit differently. I'm not really going to do entries per se. It's going to be, I'm going to build this amp. You're going to watch it happen. It's going to happen. And then when we get to the end, you know, I'll tell you what date and time you need to be on this channel to watch, and your name is going to get called. It's going to be very, very short, because it's going to be, all right, here we are. We'll have a little bit of intro. We'll do some show and tell maybe or whatever. And then I'm just going to call a name. You better be there. You don't know who you are. I got 3,400 subscribers. It could be any freaking one of you. Don't know? Don't know. But if you're not there, we're going to go next, and you better be there. I'm going to keep it that simple the next time around. So, but thank you for those of you who are giving me that love, that attention, and that respect, I will call it. I appreciate it. I thank you all so much for being here, just in general. So I think with that, we can call it a day for this particular stream. Like, if I cut it right now, I've gotten all those details out that I had to just get off my chest, because the last couple days have been a little bit frustrating for me. So, but for those of you who are here and saying the nice words, I appreciate you. You're obviously not the ones I'm talking about, okay? For those of you who know, you know who I'm talking about, but just be aware. I'm not like trying to out you or anything like that, or dox you or anything, but definitely know you're on blast, okay? right, so what do we got here? We like happiness. Showing, yeah, right? Come on. Like this has been pretty much it's been pretty, yeah, I don't know. I hope the hell they play the shit out of it though. That's for damn sure. Yeah, it is a good way to spend time with you guys too. I do kind of like that. It does add a little bit of time to the build. I will say that. So obviously when you're sitting there going, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and do that, all this, and you know, you stop to explain some other concept or something like that. I think the next membership video I'm going to do for the members is one about the split plate loads. I think it's one of those less known like tricks that you can do. It's not really common. It's been done. It's not like it's a new thing or anything like that, but it's like one of those little tricks that you kind of need to know because there is a point in time where you're going to need it, and it does that thing that you need it to do. Trust me. So, if you didn't watch yesterday's stream, you should probably go back and watch whatever stream was on 6.3. It was kind of, you know, the series wrap up, if you will. Troopin, how's it going, man? Welcome in. Definitely worth watching because we do kind of go over some of the quirks of this thing. I'm not saying it doesn't have its quirks. It's a single channel amp. It's got a lot of range in it for a single channel amp. It's got a multitude of different ways that you can run it. When I say different ways that you can run it, I mean you can run it as a clean amp and pump your effects into the front end. It's got an effects loop, but it's a parallel effects loop. So that does kind of change how you have to attack or utilize the effects loop that's in this. But because of the parallel effects loop that's in here, you have some added benefits that allow you to run wet, dry, wet rigs, because now you have a pick point that's basically after the preamp that you can then run into your effects and then put into some other guitar cabinets or amplifiers, if you will. You use it to go into your DAW, whatever it is you need to do. It's not going to steal the signal out of the signal path, so you can still run the amp like you normally would through your normal speaker. And if you still want to, you can still run the wet effects back in. But do keep in mind that they have to be full wet effects at that point, okay? So just to kind of clarify some other things about the effects loop. First and foremost, the effects loop is made by no one other than Elams 1894. If you have not heard about him, please do make it a point to go find him on YouTube. It's at Elams, and that's ELAMS 1894. He is here. You'll find him. I think pretty much by the time you put at Elams in there, you're going to find him. He has a lot of videos that go into much finer detail, like they pinpoint in on certain sections of the amp. His videography is really good is what I'm getting at. He explains things really well, and he's got that sultry, soothing voice that you just want to go, oh, it gets you all warm and fuzzy inside, right? But he's also a really smart individual. You freaking fly. There's a fly in here and it's bugging me. A really smart individual though. He designed and built the effects loop that is in this particular amp, and it's like the one of the more refined versions that he has of it. I want to say it's like V2 or 3 or something like that. But it works really well, I can tell you that. It's probably not 100% optimized to work with this amp, but it's working well enough that I know that I can make it work, right? I think if I had some more time to work with him on something, we could find another way, or I just need to do some more work on my end to make it work in here. But as it is right now, works great. He's worth going and checking out and subscribing to, of course, just in general. If you haven't already, check out YDNA Amplification. He's got 2 channels now. He's got at Andy Lederman, and then of course he's got at Y-DNA. Stream just related video or the finale? No. That one is just another kind of like one of these things to kind of get everybody just honed in. We're still, I'm going to do a thing with Riley here. He hasn't popped on yet, but Riley and I are working on trying to do like a Q&A kind of interview sort of thing. It will kind of brush up a lot on some of the topics that I have here, except for since it'll be more of an interview, it won't be as spastic, I guess is the word. Obviously, you know, the question will be there and then you can get the answer. Question the answer and stuff. Whereas in this case here, you're it's more scattered. I'm kind of tempted at this point to end the stream here in the next few minutes, just so that way this one isn't, you know, too long, and it'll keep people wanting to get in on it. I know there's 16 of you in here right now, but what I can do is end this stream and then start a new one, and we can continue this conversation a little bit more in depth. But just yesterday, I didn't touch really deeply on the effects loop. I just wanted to hone in on that for just a minute. I would have to double check on that one. Luckily, Troopin, I can put in a good word. I can put in a good word because I'm special like that. I'm special. We do have an infiltrator somewhere. There is somebody on that channel that is, I don't know who booted you, but there's apparently someone on that channel that is like a troll, for lack of a better way of putting it. And they have been known to out people. He has released a bunch of people before, and it's possible that if you haven't been banned recently, that you're still able to get there. But I'll have him check it out and see, because I can almost guarantee you he didn't do it. It was probably me, but I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. No, it definitely wasn't me, as far as I can recall. No worries. Yeah, no, we generally keep the two sides separate, just because it, you know, I don't really go down that avenue. He's got a different format than me, of course, but in either case, so let's do this. I'm gonna end this stream. I'm gonna start another one here in just a few minutes, but let me cap off on this effects loop real quick, and then we can start over again. But this effects loop, just to make it very, very clear, is a parallel effects loop. That means that the effects that you run back into it should be full wet. Now, not all effects do that. Some have a mix knob, some don't. Now, you can run the dry effect back through this, but there's a possibility that it'll be out of phase. Depending on the type of effect that you have, it may be, and I say out of phase because in the time domain, there might be some latency from that pedal. It's gonna be more prominent in digital pedals, I can tell you that right now. Analog pedals, like true analog pedals, you're probably not gonna even know that there was an effects loop there at all. The analog should be, you know, instantaneous. However, if you're using a digital reverb in something, chances are, even though the dry is coming out with it, it might be behind in time, latency, and you'll hear that in here as kind of like a weird, it has an artifact. It sounds different, it sounds weird, but it kind of sounds cool depending on how much there is of it. And it might be the sound that you like, it might not be. There is a polarity switch on the send knob of this thing. So depending on what types of effects you have, they may invert the polarity at some point. Now, inverting the polarity is is basically switching a positive to a minus, or a minus to a positive, right? It's taking it from one and swapping it to the other, right? So with that polarity switch in the back of this thing, you can get effects that are out of phase coming back into the amp to be back in phase. It does not affect the pathway of the amp itself. This is a pure path amp, which is to say that nothing breaks the signal in this amp from the preamp into the power section. That's the beauty of a, you know, parallel effects loop, is it the path itself is pure. So it doesn't really change the tone of the amp at all. But what you send back into it does mix with the signal that you have going through your preamp and into the power amp. And depending on how those are phased out, whatever's going on, what kind of ever anomaly you might have, that can cause some issues. So you just need to be kind of more aware that if you have an effect with a blend option, you know, a mix option, you're probably going to want to shoot more towards wet. Not all effects work really well with that. So in either case, hey, David, what's going on, man? I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. Hold on, let me do some housework here again. But really cool effects loop. It allows you, like I mentioned, to strip off a signal from the preamp that it does not affect the remainder of the amp. So you can use it as a line out. You can use it as a way to, like I say, feed a wet, dry, wet rig of some sort, recording, whatever it might need to be. So with all that being said, I'm going to end it now. We're like right at the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to start another live here in just a few moments. So if you want to come back in, more than welcome to come back in, and we can do some more Q&A and talk a little more deep about just random subjects and stuff like that. So thank you all so much for coming in. If I offended you, I apologize. But at the same time, please just be respectful of everybody involved in this. And just know that, you know, this doesn't have to happen. It's going to happen, but it doesn't have to happen. There's Grant us glorious tone right there. So I'm going to end this, coming back in just a few minutes. All right. So thank you so much. Bye. Oh, wait, I got to hit the button.